Hi, my name is Aaron Curry, and in today's video I'm going to show you the safest way to build long-term wealth through property in this booming property market. I'm also going to be showing you how you can get at least three properties in the next 12 months, regardless of your starting position, your money, your time, your experience, regardless of that position. Now, you might think that's crazy, you might think that's impossible, and that's exactly what I thought 21 years ago when I was first starting out in property and I didn't have a clue what I was doing. So let me share with you a story. Back then, I had a mentor in my life, or someone that I saw as a mentor, a guy called Warren. And Warren was the owner of the company I was kind of affiliated to at the time. I'd worked for 6 or 7 years for Marks and Spencer's. I graduated, got my graduate job, and great career with Marks and Spencer's, promotion every 6 to 12 months, moved on to a new town and city. And when you're young, free and single, and they're paying expenses, putting you in a hotel and covering all your costs, it was a great life. But I then met who would go on to be my first wife, Sarah, and we wanted to settle down. We didn't want to keep moving around the country every 6 to 12 months. And I had a choice. It was either continue with your career or go for love, and love won out. So I quit my job at Marks and Spencer's, left that great education I was getting, and I set up back then as a mortgage broker. So I became a mortgage broker, didn't have a clue really about mortgages, I had a financial background, and in my first 6 months I earned just £2,000 total. That was it, £2,000 as a self-employed mortgage broker. And I'm sat with the owner of the business that I'm affiliated to, that I'm doing my mortgages through, and he's a guy called Warren. And I'm sat with Warren, and Warren is asking me how things are going. I'm like, you know how things are going. Things aren't going very well. And he's saying, well, Aaron, listen, we have a mission statement in the company. Our mission statement: debt reduction, asset accumulation, improved lifestyle. Are you talking to our clients about that? I'm like, Warren, well, in my head, I'm going, Warren, debt reduction? My debts are getting bigger. I don't say it out loud because I didn't dare, but my debts are getting bigger. And, improved lifestyle, it's definitely not improving. And asset accumulation, I don't even know what an asset is. So I'm running this story in my head, and he goes on to say, Aaron, listen, it's great if you are talking to our clients about that, but what's even more important, did you read that book I sent you? And I'm like, I did read it actually. He said, that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Now, I don't know if you've read the book. If you haven't, it's a must read, but it's a concept book about properties. It teaches you the concepts, but it doesn't teach you the how-to. So I'd read the book, I'd got the concepts that property was a great thing. So I'm like, I'm delighted you brought this up, Warren. So what I wanted to ask you, you know what I'm earning. How can I possibly, when I've earned £2,000 in 6 months, I'm going backwards, how can I possibly start investing in property? And that was when he taught me a magic phrase. He said, Aaron, there's no such thing as a lack of resource, there's a lack of resourcefulness. If you're writing that down, there's no such thing as a lack of resource, there's a lack of resourcefulness. You see, Aaron, if you're going to invest in property, that's what we're talking about right now, and you're focused on the lack of money, you're going to be stuck forever. But there's a lack of resourcefulness. There's plenty of money out there. You just need to learn how to find it, and you need to go and get it. So with this message ringing between my ears, I go away. And by the way, as a side note, my mortgage company turns into a really successful business. Just 6 months later, I'm kind of on about £10,000 a month, and it's exploded and everything's going great. But what happened on the property side of things? Well, what happened on the property side of things? I'm sat at home and I'm racking my brain. I'm like, there's got to be a way. He's telling me to be more resourceful. There's got to be, and whatever I do, I can't think of anyone that's got money or anyone I can connect with. And then just one Thursday evening, it's kind of autumn time. If you imagine dark nights outside, it's about 9 o'clock at night on a Thursday evening. It's raining outside. And I'm sat probably in my shorts and t-shirt and slippers on, or whatever I've got on my feet. And suddenly, ping, Mark, my next door neighbour, he's got money, Mark's got money. And I didn't know Mark very well, by the way. I'd met him over the fence 2 or 3 times, and he was one of the first people that I actually did their mortgage. When I started doing mortgages, I asked him, and he said, I need my mortgage looking at. And I don't know if you remember, when you last did your mortgage, you'd have filled in a fact find. And when you fill in that fact find, I'd found out that Mark had some savings. So I didn't know him very well, but I'm like, Mark's got money. Literally 10 seconds later, I'm still in my shorts, but I've hurled out of the front door, I have leaped over a metre-high fence, and I am knocking on Mark's door with total excitement. There's kind of spit coming out of my mouth and dribbling down. And Mark opens the door. I'm like, Mark, you've got money, I've got time. We should do this together. I know about property. I've read this book. We should do it together. That is not, by the way, me teaching you how to pitch for money. That is not how you do it. But that was how I did it, okay? Now, suffice to say, this madman on his doorstep, 9 o'clock at night, in the rain in his shorts, I didn't seal the deal there and then. We didn't get the money straight away. But about 3 weeks later, a bit of going back and forth, Mark getting more clarity, he says, do you know what, I'm in. I'll put the money in, you put the time in, and let's grow a portfolio together. And I'm over the moon. It's kind of an unbelievable step. And by the way, mistake 101, my only knowledge above Mark, by the way, was what? I'd read a book, one book. So with one book and excitement, I'd got someone to invest 100k. So when I say if you're starting with low money, you can get other people to do this, and I'll train you to do it a lot better, by the way, if you watch all my videos, you can absolutely do this, because I did it awfully and I still was successful. And Mark's not an idiot either. In fact, he's not an idiot at all, which you'll come on to here. So, but Mark puts the money in, I put the time in, and we set off on our journey. I make the mistake of giving him the book. So within a couple of weeks, he's read the book. Now he's the same expertise as me. That was great for me, though, because I had to keep learning and keep stretching. So we start investing, and our first 10 properties are a disaster. And some of you will relate with this story now. Some of you will be in this exact same position. You might have bought 1 or 2 or 3, and they might be a total disaster like some of mine were, or they might just not be doing as well as you thought, or you've got stuck and you're not moving forward and you're wondering why. And it's because, bottom line, if I'm being honest, and I'll cover this in later videos, it's because you've bought the wrong houses. And I'll come on to what I mean by that. But let's come back to the disaster. My first 10 houses, I'm losing hundreds of pounds, sometimes thousands of pounds, and a couple of times, tens of thousands of pounds. We actually bought a property, and about 6 months after buying it, already we'd had rental issues and people not paying the rent, and then they set it on fire and burnt it to the ground. Literally, drugs party, burnt down to the ground. I'm getting a phone call, your house has just burnt down in the middle of a Saturday night. So, disaster after disaster, and even worse for me, this was someone else's money, not my own. Not my own. So, but here was the thing. Here's the thing. I was this close to quitting. I was this close to giving up on my dreams. I was this close to giving up on property. And we'd have done. We'd have sold up, given Mark back what I could. I'd have owed him some chunks of money to clear us out. And we'd have been out of there. But luckily enough for me, when I was very, very close to quitting, I heard what I would call a master speak on stage to me. And a master for me, by the way, is anybody in the world that is, just supreme at something. So I always want to find the best in the world or the best in the UK I can and listen to them. And I listen to this speaker, and the speaker shares with me some real nuggets. But the main nugget they share is about the journey to being successful at anything, whether it's tennis, whether it's rounders, whether it's a hobby, whether it's sport, whether it's property investing. And the secret is to find someone already brilliant at it and copy the heck out of them. We bring people up in school and we say, don't copy your neighbour. It's the most ridiculous thing to tell a child, don't copy. Because then they grow up and they don't copy successful people. They just be their own bee, and their own bee doesn't know the successful paths. So I start to learn from successful people. I'm like, this is amazing. I need to find the most successful people I can. I need to find out how they've grown their portfolios, what they've done, how they've done it. And I start to study this and go and watch these people and listen to these people and make furious notes. And some of you will be saying, Aaron, but you can never get near these people. I'm here talking to you. I'm one of these people these days, okay? And you can get close to people like me. You can join our webinars. You can be around us. You can ask questions of us. But anyway, so I get around these people and I'm getting all this information and this knowledge. And then we go out to buy some more properties, but now with the right rules in place. Because what you need to learn is you need the right houses in the right towns and cities on the right streets with the right rules. That's a lot. So I get the right rules in place and I start to invest now for me and Mark. And the next 7 properties we buy, just 7, we've got 10 average to rubbish ones already. But the next 7 on their own create enough income, these are family-let properties, to make both him and me financially free. We get to the point where both of us could quit our jobs and live off our property income and would never need to work a day again if we didn't want to. Now, I'm in my early 30s at this point, and you know, I'm not ready for quitting. I'm not ready for sitting on a beach. I was talking to a friend of mine very recently, and they were saying, you know, people say they want financial freedom, but then you ask them what they actually want, and they say, well, I want to be able to do nothing. And then you say, well, would you really want to do nothing? And they stop and think about it, and they realize, no, you know, sitting doing nothing is pretty damn boring. You know, we're not striving for that, are we? We're striving for things like security. Things like, I've got a fortress, no one can ever touch me again, I'm always going to be financially sound. It doesn't matter if I lose my job, it doesn't matter if I enjoy my job or not, because I can just quit if I want to. Going to work when you know you don't need to earn the money becomes a totally different experience. You just do what you love instead of doing what you have to do, for example. And other people want to get financially free for some groovy stuff. You might want a new car. You might want to go on holiday all the time. You might want to quit your job and live off your property portfolio. But we get to that point, and Mark actually chooses to quit his job. He does quit his job, and he manages the properties. And I'm able now to do other stuff that I love, because Mark takes over the properties, he takes over putting the time in, and I can go on to do lots and lots of other things I love and develop a lot of other things. But the point I'm making is, it wasn't until we got that mastery that our life changed. So what I want to do in the rest of this video, this is a long video, but it's because I've got so much content to share with you. So grab a pen and paper, get comfortable, lock in for it all. I want to share with you what I've created, which are the 10 core areas that you need to master to safely and securely invest in property. Safely and securely invest in property. So let's get stuck into this. Let's share this with you. And I call it the Safe, Secure Portfolio Plan. Why? You can do this safely. You don't have to take big gambles or risks. You can do it securely, and you can do it with a plan. We can build this portfolio with a plan. So enjoy, and I'll speak to you soon. So how would you like it right now if I share with you the 10 core rules that you need to master to an 8, 9, or 10? I want to share those with you right now in this video to give you a feel of how this works, and we'll do a deep dive into a couple of those rules. So first of all, let me talk to you about what I call the 5 Ps. The 5 Ps are where I chunk up, first of all, into 5 simple Ps, and then under each of those Ps are 2 subsections, which become our 10 rules. So what are the 5 Ps that you need to master to successfully invest in property, and to be able to help other people in this economy right now today, to help other people over the coming months and years ahead of us, and to help you and your family build an outstanding financial fortress? Here's what they are. The first P is P for purpose. P for purpose. What do I mean by that? You need to be clear with your property investing on why you're doing it. Too many people just gather properties almost by accident, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, and you may have done this, but you know, you move in with a girlfriend or boyfriend and you decide to keep one of the properties that you already had. Now, that was a deliberate decision, I get that, but it was accidental that you became a landlord. That wasn't in the plan. Or you get some money together, or some equity in your house, and you think, do you know what, I'll use that to buy a property. But it's not part of a long-term vision or a long-term plan. It's just I've got some money, I ought to do something with it, I'll do this. So again, it was deliberate, but it's kind of by accident. It's not part of the bigger vision. So we need to have a really clear purpose. What are we in this for? What are we trying to achieve? Where are we trying to get to? The second P is P for plan. P for plan. You know, if I want to get from here to the centre of town, which is a couple of miles away, if I have a detailed plan that says go down this road, turn right at the roundabout, next roundabout turn left, follow that road along, then take another right, then take the second right. If I have a detailed plan that takes me from here all the way there, or I only have a plan that says go out of the gate and then hope for the best, it's really clear which plan you're more likely to follow. The detailed one that gives you the step by step by step. In fact, it's really clear. I'll set off if I know how to get there. If it's go out of the gate and hope for the best, I'm not even going to set off. I'm going to be far too fearful to even go out there to take the first step. So you need a detailed plan. People go, planning's boring. I say to them, I tell you what, do the boring bit and plan now and be wealthy for the rest of your life. Maybe planning's going to be some good fun. Definitely being wealthy will be more fun. Having that financial fortress will be more fun than worrying about money. So we need to have our purpose right. We need to have a plan. What's the third P? The third P is P for payment. P for payment. Let's say you invited me to a dinner party tonight and you've got all your friends and your family there all around you. I know you can't do that in this environment right now today, but let's assume we're all allowed out again and you do that. And I come and sit with you and you've invited me back. And we're sat with everybody. We're sat there for about an hour. We get an hour in front of everybody, all your friends, your family, your neighbours. I say, hey, how much are you earning? Right in front of everybody. Are you going to invite me back for dinner again? Are you going to want me back in your house again, asking that personal question in front of everybody? The answer's normally no. But here's another question for you. What do you think wealthy people talk about at their dinner parties? That's right. They talk about money. They say, hey, John, what are you earning? And John goes, you wouldn't believe it. I'm making tens of thousands every month in the stock market. You're like, wow, will you show me how? And John goes, yeah, I'm doing this and this and this and this. It's amazing. And I go, yeah, great, I'll do that too. And then John asks me, hey, Aaron, what are you earning? I say, you won't believe it. Making thousands, tens of thousands in the property market every month. He says, wow, will you show me how? I say, yeah, I'm doing this and this and this and this is how it works. And guess what? The wealthy people get wealthier because they're talking about money. Here's the challenge. If you're like me, this is me now, but back then, back when I started out, I was brought up by a mother who, if a nice expensive car went past, she'd turn to me, 7, 8, 9 years old, she'd say, idiot. And I'd be like, Mummy, what do you mean? She'd say, what an idiot. They've spent 30, 40,000 on a car. She worked for a homeless charity. She was like, that could have fed 4 families for the next 4 years and given them a home. And they've wasted it on a car. I was taught that striving for more money was not a good thing. You know, Uncle Peter came, turned up on our driveway, and he'd got a new job and a new car. And I was like, Uncle Peter, that's amazing. What do you get paid for your new job? I got a clip round the ear. You don't ask about money. That's rude. And you probably are in the same situation. You probably were brought up in the same way. If we're going to want to have a financial fortress, if we're going to want to look after us and our families, we have to learn about money. We have to get comfortable talking about money. Right now, all you hear on the news is about money. And people are literally dying. We're in a terrible, terrible place. You will have people you are concerned about, worried about. You may have people in your family that are ill. And this is a totally terrible place to be. But more of the news is not about the people that are dying. It's about the financial stimulus that's needed. It's about making sure the economy keeps flowing. That's what people are talking about right now. I would rather that you had a financial fortress so you could just focus on those people that are ill. That you could just focus on those people that need help. You could just go out and help whoever needs helping, not worrying about money. You know, if this comes back in 3 or 5 years, or a new strain of it, and it comes back in 10 years' time, or if pensions don't exist in the future, you need to be safe. To get financially safe so you can then love and give back more, you need to make sure you've got that fortress. You need to get comfortable with P for payment. You need to get comfortable talking about money, sharing stories about money, and learning about money. What's the 4th P? The 4th P is P for purchase. Okay? When you buy a house, for most people, the houses that you have bought or spent your time in are homes. When you're buying a home for you and your family, which part of the body are you thinking with? That's right, it's the heart. It's a heart decision. When I bought this home that I'm in now, I'll pay over the odds to get the right house. I want my family to feel safe. You'll be the same. You want your family to feel safe. You want them to be able to nest there. You want them to feel there's a good local school, a good local community. It's a nice, safe, secure area. It's a heart decision. You'll pay over the odds. If you're a property investor, which part of the body should you be thinking with? It's a head decision. It's an investment decision. You're worried about what discount am I getting? You're worried about, is there high demand? It's a numbers. What's the discount? What's the demand? What's the cash flow going to be that I'm going to get from this property? What's the capital growth going to be like? What's that going to look like? It's all a numbers decision. I don't care if I want to live there or not. If 20 other people want to live there, it could be a great investment property if it meets all the other rules. More on that later in the video series. But if it's not, if only 2 people want to live there, I'm going to run a mile because it's not going to rent easily. It's not going to rent well. So we need to understand purchase. Final P, P for profit. P for profit. This is all about making sure that when you invest your money, your hard-earned money, the money that you've worked really hard to save, or the equity you've got in your house that you've worked hard, or a lot of years has created that equity, and you want to do something with it. In equity, by the way, it's earning you nothing. In savings, it's earning you 1% a year if you're lucky, and with the rate drops right now, it's earning you nothing in that savings account. Nothing. So that money you've worked so hard for is earning you absolutely nothing in this current economy. Okay? Profit is about getting multiple returns. What I'm teaching you on this video, I could have just sat with somebody. I could have sat with my friend Joanna and just said, Joanna, let me teach you this stuff. And she learns this stuff, and she has a great day, and I have a great day, but I've taught one person. Or I can do a video like this, and tens of thousands of people can watch it, just like you. And I help tens of thousands of people at the same time. Same effort put in, but tens of thousands return. What kind of returns are you getting on your money? Are you getting one-for-one returns, or are you getting one to tens of thousands? One-to-many returns on your money? On my safe, secure, rainy day money, I earn 8% per annum. That's my safe, secure, rainy day. I earn 8% per annum. So you can imagine on my invested money, when I invest in the property market, I earn a lot more. And I want you to be able to do the same with that rainy day money and with that invested money. It's got to be profitable. It's got to help other people. The more people you serve, the more people you help. That's a great thing. And the more value you add, then the more profit there can be for you. So there are 5 Ps. And when we put that all together, we call that the safe, secure portfolio plan. No investment is risk-free. You want to make sure you're getting the best possible return with the least possible risk. If someone tells you an investment is risk-free, that's crazy. It's not true. But you want the least possible risk for the best possible return. And you do that by having really strict rules in place. People like Warren Buffett, people like Bill Gates, people like Richard Branson, they all have strict rules in place. Whatever you think of them as human beings, they're financially doing well. But they have really strict rules about what they will do and what they won't do. And you need those rules in your financial world too. So let's dive in now and show you the detail that sits under each of these Ps. Let's show you some of the detail of what the 2 subsections of each one are and the 10 areas. Okay, so you'll see on the image that I've put up in front of you now that we have the 5 Ps around the edge: purpose, plan, payment, purchase, profit. So if I click the clicker now, you'll see that under purpose we have the clear vision creator and the confident investment formula. Under plan, we have simple selection system and expert team creator. Under payment, we have the proven profit multiplier and the pay-to-play principles. Under purchase, we have stress-free letting system and the powerful purchase plan. And under profit, we have the personal profit producer and the time-tested tax toolkit. When I teach these 10 key areas in my Property Mentorship Academy, there literally is about 15 days worth of content. So I can't possibly, in the next 20 minutes that we've got left together, teach you all the detail all at once right now today. But the good news is this is only the second video in the video series and there's more to come. But for now, what I can do is do 2 other things. I'm going to give you a free report that comes with this video. So if you look somewhere around this video, you'll see a link where you can claim a free report. And that report will give you this framework and will give you some of the detail that goes within it that I'm teaching within this video. So you want to grab that now so you've got that free report for you to keep, or grab it when you finish watching this video. But in the meantime, what we're going to do is dive into those top 2 subsections. We're going to dive in and look at the clear vision creator and the confident investment formula. Now, it's a lot easier to teach this with a flip chart. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to my kitchen area where I've got the flip chart set up, and we'll dive in and I'll teach you these 2 key areas in quite a lot more detail. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Hi again. Right, let's dive now into the clear vision creator, that first part of purpose. Okay, let's imagine that you, me, and 100 people all wanted to look for our financial freedom, our pot of gold, as you were. 500 years ago, you'd put your stick over your back with your possessions on the end of it, and you'd set off looking for your pot of gold. So let's imagine this morning we all met up, and I know we can't come out of our houses right now, but we all met up, and we went and met up, let's say, in Newcastle. So drawing is not one of the skills that I have mastered. So let's imagine that this is England and Wales, and Scotland's up here, and we go all meet up in Newcastle here. Now, our pot of gold, we don't know where it is, but let's assume that our pot of gold was down here in Brighton. Okay. Now, let's imagine we're in a room, there's 100 people sat in it, and the people sat on the right-hand side, they all decide to set off east. They're all going east to look for their pot of gold. Now, if they set off from Newcastle going east, at best, they're going to get wet. In reality, they're probably going to drown. They're not going to find their financial freedom, their pot of gold. The people on the left-hand side are feeling cool. They're thinking, oh, good, we're not drowned. They set off west, different versions of west. It just takes longer for them to get wet and longer for them to then drown. Now let's imagine by perfect chance, Paula sets off in the perfect direction. She's one of the 100 of us, and she sets off in the perfect direction, heading straight towards Brighton. And if I said, who wants to be Paula right now financially, all 100 hands would go up. Everybody would want to be Paula. But wouldn't you agree with me that in life we hit bumps in the road? We're hitting a massive one right now, aren't we? Wouldn't you agree with me, in life we get diversions, we get deviated from our original plan? Does that happen? You'd agree that yes. So Paula set off in exactly the perfect direction to get to her pot of gold. She's going down the A1 from Newcastle, but then she gets diverted and she has to turn off along the M18. Now, if Paula doesn't know where she was originally going, she'd keep going along the M18. She'd have a lovely picturesque drive through Wales, and she ends up joining everybody else in the sea and now drowning. However, if Paula did know where she was going, if she knew exactly what she was trying to achieve, what would she do? What would she do here? That's right, she'd adjust. Then she gets diverted again. She adjusts. She hits a bump in the road. She adjusts. If you do not know where you are going, you have no chance of getting there. If you don't have a really clear vision, and I don't just mean I want £30,000 a year or £60,000 a year, what will you do with that money? What will your life look like? If you don't have a totally clear picture that says, my goal's £60,000 a year, and I work 10 hours a week doing the work that I still love, and the rest of the time I spend in the spa, or I spend on holiday, or I spend with my kids, and I spend giving back, or whatever the picture is for you, if you don't have a really clear vision of what that looks like, you have no chance of getting there. None whatsoever. Let me help to kind of hammer this point home. Let's imagine, what I'd like you to think about is an area in your life right now that's going really, really well. It might be business or finance. It might be your relationship with your intimate other. It might be your relationship with your friends and family. It might be health or fitness. Think of an area going really well right now. And I'm speaking to, a few hundred or a few thousand of you, and I can almost guarantee every single one of you has all picked different things. But in that area, I can also guarantee you'll have a clear vision of what outstanding or great looks like. Isn't that true? Now think of an area in your life that isn't going well. Relationship with intimate other, relationship with family and friends, business, finance, health, fitness. Think of an area not going well. And I can almost guarantee you in that area, you don't have a clear vision of what outstanding or great looks like. Isn't that interesting? So here we need to know, if you want to be successful in any area of your life, I know you're here for property, but I'm talking about whatever area you just mentioned. If you want to be successful, get a clear vision. The subconscious brain, 30,000 times more powerful than your conscious brain. It's your subconscious brain that makes your heart beat. You've been listening to me for half an hour, your heart's been beating, you haven't even thought to make it beat. Whilst you've been listening to me, your skin has been growing. You haven't even thought about your skin, but now you can feel it, can't you? It's growing. That skin's growing with your subconscious brain. It's unbelievably powerful. Give it a chance to help you. If you get clear on your vision, clear on where you want to get to, this has got far more chance of helping you get there. I'm sure that is now making sense to you. So I could teach this for a whole day, but as a start of a 10, there's an exercise for you when you put this video down. You know, go get a clear vision. Go write, what does it mean? What's the number that you need? But also, what will you do with your life and how will your life look? Let's dive next into the confident investment formula. Let's think a little bit about that, the second part of purpose. And this is my favorite area, by the way. 80% of what we do in life is about this, the mindset. 20% is the what we do, 80% is this. We have to get some shifts up here. The decisions you've made in life so far, wouldn't you agree, have got you to where you are so far? If you want to get somewhere different, you need to make a different set of decisions to the ones that you've made so far. Does that make sense? So we need to think differently. We need to think in a new way. So I want to help you. Let's dive in and just pick out one of these pieces. I know which one we'll use. I'm going to talk to you about 3 different ways of thinking and ways of being. And you'll be all of these at different times during your life, but you'll mainly be one of them, okay? So let's work with the first one. Let's imagine today that we all went and we decided to learn to play golf. If you're not into sport, think of a hobby or think about any other sport if you're not into, but we go to learn this new skill, and I'm going to use golf for now. So we go and learn to play golf. When we first take up the learning, in the beginning, it's a steep curve, isn't it? We're learning, we're growing, we're learning, we're growing, we're learning, we're growing. You put that golf ball down, you swing that club at the golf ball, and as long as you connect, the first few swings you might not even connect, but once you connect, it's going to travel because it's designed to travel. So it might go 40, 50, 60 yards. But as you're learning and growing and learning and growing, we get to maybe 100 yards, 120, 130 yards. And now you're able to hit it 130 yards, it goes off to the left, it goes off to the right, it doesn't quite land where you want it to land. But you're able to hit it 130 yards, but it's not going any further and it's not going any straighter, whatever you seem to do. And you've reached what I call a plateau. A plateau. Now, by the way, in this learning and growing phase, you might have also gone and bought some golf clubs, which feels pretty nice. And you've invested in some golf kit. And you may even have gone and joined a golf club and you're meeting new people that you've never met before, speaking about new things that you've not spoken about before. Learning, growing, learning, growing. But again, that becomes samey. You've reached a plateau. You might be 3, 6, 9 months in, you've reached this plateau. Now, the first type of person that I'm going to describe is what I would call a dabbler. A dabbler, okay? Now, what does a dabbler do? A dabbler reaches this plateau and goes, oh, golf, that's a stupid game. I don't have 5 hours every Saturday and 5 hours every Sunday to play it. Besides, it's winter and it's raining outside, it's miserable. I get blisters on my feet when I play it. I'm going to quit playing golf and I'll go play something else instead. So the dabbler quits the golf and they might go take up tennis. And what happens when they first take up tennis? They take up tennis and they start learning and growing. They learn how to hit a serve better. They learn how to put topspin on their forehand. Maybe hit the backhand back every once in a while. They're learning, they're growing. They might go buy some new tennis kit. They might go get a new tennis racket. Even join the tennis club and meet some new people. Learn, grow, learn, grow. 3, 6, 9 months. But what happens? They reach another plateau. They're like, man, another plateau. And they're a dabbler. So what do? They go, oh, tennis, it's a stupid game. Besides, I don't look good in white without a tan. Besides, I don't enjoy playing this game. I don't have Tuesday evenings free. I'd rather be at home or there's a different club to go to. I know I'm going to give up tennis and I'll go to the gym. And there's loads of dabblers there, isn't there, in January and February? Loads of dabblers. Now, what I'd like to ask you to think about is, have you either in the past or now have been or are sometimes a dabbler? You know, if you're in an event room now, I'd say raise your hand if that's the case. And you'd look around and virtually every single hand would go up. Either in the past or now, have been or are sometimes a dabbler. So what results do dabblers get? When I'm talking about long-term outstanding success, does a dabbler get outstanding long-term success or very little long-term success? That's right, very little. Dabbling doesn't lead to long-term success. But here's the challenge. Can dabbling be fun? Can it be fun trying lots of new things out? My second oldest son, Josh, he is 20 now. But when he was about 17 years old, 16, he was a dabbler in love. He'd ring me up, he'd say, Dad, we're going out for dinner this weekend as a family. Can I bring my new girlfriend? We'd say, great, yeah, bring her along. And we'd get to meet her, and it was lovely to meet her. 4 or 5 weeks later, we'd be going ice skating as a family. Dad, can I bring my new girlfriend along? Can I bring her along? We'd say, yeah, we'd love to meet her again. And we'd turn up to ice skating, new girlfriend. 3, 4, 5 weeks later, we'd be going out for dinner again or Sunday lunch. Dad, can I bring the girlfriend along? Of course, bring her along. And we'd turn up for Sunday lunch. Another new girlfriend. Third girlfriend in a few weeks. He was a dabbler in love. Now, here's the thing. Was Josh having fun? Was dabbling fun for him? Hell yes. He was having a great time meeting all these new people, new experiences. Was it going to lead to long-term outstanding love? Never. Never, never, never. Okay? So dabbling can be fun. We're taking the short-term benefit and sacrificing the long-term benefit. You're looking after your immediate self, but not ever your future self when you dabble. Let's look at the next type of person, okay? And people that watch my videos like this, generally, you live in this second camp. This is the place you live. And up until about 8, 9, 10 years ago, this is where I lived. So the second type of person, they take up golf. They're learning, they're growing, they're learning, they're growing. They reach a plateau. Now, I'm going to call this type of person a stressor. I don't even know if that's a word, so forgive me if it's not. But they're a stressor. So what does a stressor do when they hit a plateau? A stressor goes, that person can play golf, that person can play golf, I must be able to do it. So they're down at the driving range every night, they're trying, there's blisters on their hands, they're still trying, they're out there every Saturday, every Sunday, they're putting everything into it, they're trying. And eventually one day, suddenly, they swing the club back, they hit the ball, it travels 110, 120, 130, 140, 160 yards, and it lands on the green, just 4 feet from the hole, and they're like, yay! Yay! They've learned to hit it further. But then what happens? They go up to put the ball, and it takes them 4 putts to get it down the hole. They're like, no! They've reached another plateau because they can't putt now. They need to learn to putt. But this is someone who gets stuff done. That's why I know people that watch my videos. You're people that get stuff done. You're people that take action. You're action takers. You want to improve your life. So this person wants to get stuff done. They're like putting everywhere. They're in the office in the lunch break, putting with a little putter. They're putting around the house at home under everybody's feet. They're putting. They're practicing every minute they can. And eventually, boom, they learn to putt. But then they reach another plateau because they can't chip it on. If they fall short of the hole, they can't chip it up onto the green. So they're trying. A stressor gets stuff done. They get stuff done. They're a great or a good husband or wife. They're good at their job. They're good at any sports they take up. They're good at any hobbies they have. They're a good human being. But their life is exhausting. Because it's all so much effort. Are you willing to admit that either in the past or now, you have been or are sometimes a stressor? And again, if I was in a room of 100 people, virtually all the hands would go up right now. So you're not on your own. You're not on your own. And this is where I lived till 8, 9, 10 years ago. So let me give you a third way. Let me give you a third way. This third way I'm going to call mastery. So what does a master do? They go to learn to take up golf, and they're learning, they're growing, they're learning, they're growing, and they reach the same plateau as everybody else. What does a master do? A plateau. I knew I'd reach a plateau. John, you know how to play golf. If I pay, can we go out and have a round of golf together and you can show me how to get great like you? John says, of course I'll take you out if you're paying. That's great, let's go. Another plateau. I knew I'd reach a plateau. Julieta, you play golf. You're better than me and John. If we pay, would you mind if we go out for a round of golf and you can show us how to be as good as you are? Would that be okay? She says, great, yeah, let's go. Mastery will change your life. It will change your life. And by the way, no disrespect at all to John or Julieta, but in your perfect world, you go find this person here, and you go straight there. Mastery will change your life. You're taking someone else's decades of learning something, decades of practice, and then you're learning it in days or weeks, and you're bringing it into your life right now, today. Right now, today. You know, if you get a golf trainer today, and you get better at golf, you're then going to be better at golf for the next 30 years. You learn it once, and you've got the skill forever. You don't get the golf trainer, and you stay down here, you play golf rubbish for 30 years, and all those days and nights just not being a good golfer. That's simple logic. You know, if you want to lose weight and you hang around with your 4 fat friends and all they do is eat donuts all the time, or you hang around with 4 friends that drink green stuff and do yoga and run everywhere, it's obvious they've got some mastery that you don't have at that point in time. You're going to move in an upward direction. And people say to me things like, oh, I get this, but it's so hard to get around these people. Really? When's the last time you asked somebody and said, you're brilliant at this, I'd love to take you out for dinner and treat you and the family to dinner, will you just talk to me for half an hour about what you know? When's the last time you actually proactively went and tried to really get around these people? Okay? And people say, oh, it's too expensive to get around these people, too expensive to have a personal trainer or a coach at golf or someone to help me with property. Too expensive? Try out not doing it. 30 years of being rubbish at golf, 30 years of having a weak body and not being fit and healthy, 30 years of financially not being strong, financially not having a fortress. Mastery will change your life. If you take nothing else from my video series, you've got to take this. Put mastery into your life and it will change your life forever. Forever. Model people who are doing things brilliantly well. Don't model your friends or people around you if they're not doing things brilliantly well. Love them, care for them, but model people that are doing things brilliantly well. So welcome back. As you can see, and I'm sure most of you will associate with being a stressor, and what I want you to do is commit to mastery. So in these next few days, think about how are you going to commit to mastery? What can you change? Where can you reach out and find the expert that's going to help guide you forward? In the meantime for you, there are 3 more videos in this video series. And the next video that I've got for you, just click the link somewhere around this video. The next video that I've got for you in this series is going to cover the 3 most profitable places to buy your buy-to-let properties right now in this current market, and the 3 absolute areas that you need to avoid buying your buy-to-let property. So you're going to really want to dive into that, and I'm going to be showing you how a normal buy-to-let property might make you 2 to maybe £3,000 a month of cash, a year of cash flow profit, how do you get a buy-to-let, a normal buy-to-let, don't do anything special with it, but make £8,000 a year on average instead of £2,000 or £3,000 a year? If you want to know about all of that, dive in and watch the rest of the videos, and I'll speak to you really, really soon. Remember, bottom line, invest with knowledge, invest with confidence, create financial freedom. Thank you.